President Manuel, you're on.
Thank you, Mr. Barbieri. And if he didn't already give it away, it is the holiday season. Schools are giving back to their communities in any way they can. Some schools and clubs are participating in Adopt a Family, where they are given the opportunity to take on a family in need who may not be able to afford Christmas on their own and donate toys, clothes, and books to kids depending on their age and gender, while also giving the mother and father of the family monetary donations. The parents of these families send out wish lists for their kids. Oftentimes, these families are large, single-parent families with oftentimes 4 or more children in a single household from the ages of a couple months to 15 or 16 years old. Every year, the most requested items are socks, shoes, undergarments, and reading books. Of course, they also ask for toys and cool gadgets and games, but all they really want is what they genuinely need. Next Thursday, my student government will be heading to Target after school to buy gifts for 3 families, totaling just around 15 kids. We will be wrapping these gifts back at school and delivering them to these kids in need. Another thing schools are participating in is Toys for Tots. Stuffed animals, Nerf guns, books, and dolls are just a few of the things that are donated. Every year, hundreds of toys are brought in to be given to these kids and families who may not be receiving toys without this toy drive, done by your schools. These are just a few of the many awesome ways that your students are impacting and changing their communities around the county.
Thank you, Mr. President. Construction Oversight Review Committee, I believe their report is just attached. Mr. Doctor's not here this evening, correct? Court? Audit Committee? Mr. Chairman? Dave Talley?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chair, board members, Superintendent Fenoy. I'm here. I'm new in this position, but I've been on the audit committee a while, so I feel fairly comfortable about what I'm about to say. The audit committee report for the November 26th meeting, I believe you all have in front of you. We heard presentations on 3 different reports and discussed the matter requested by the school board for hiring and the selection of the IG. The RSM report, I'll be real brief on that. There were no findings at all, and to me, with somewhat of a financial background, this is a huge achievement for a school district, particularly of this size. So, kudos to all of you. In terms of audit reports, the first was a follow-up review of audit of educational alternative expenditures and grant compliance. As it turned out, district staff denied the consultant's pay request because of a misunderstanding in the terms and conditions. Since the federal grant was closed and the district pay request was denied, the district had to pay $163,472 from the general fund. The second audit report was a special review of temporary costs in school food service for July 2015 through June 2019. The district spent an estimated annual cost of $308,000, or 8%, to $399,000, or 11% more, for in-house temp than those from outside agencies. The review also noted several variables for deciding whether the school district should use outside temp workers versus in-house. These variables included workforce availability, technical skill and training to ensure food safety, compliance with the Jessica Lunford's Act, and administrative recruitment training costs. We then had a presentation for preparation for the IG transition, and after extensive discussion, which I'll go into briefly in a minute, the audit committee unanimously recommended that the school board look internally first for the next inspector general before going outside, and number 2, that there not be an outsourcing of the investigative unit and legal counsel to the Palm Beach County Inspector General. I want to take, if I can, a minute, since this is real important. I've got a transcription of the audit committee meeting from November 22nd, and although I'm not going to read any names, I want to read all of these are quotes from some of our members pertaining to this issue. One is the way that the investigations and audit are integrated in some cases is very important. My concern is that if we're to outsource this, the overlap, there's potential overlap and confusion established or has to be as a result because the audit staff has to work closely together, and sometimes you have one or the other or both, so that's one concern. The second one is the school district's very specialized, and you deal with it on a county level. The IG there deals with municipalities, and it's a very different kind of work that we do here in the school district. The largest concern this person had was about the children and children being criminalized. I think at the county level, they deal with Palm Beach County Sheriff's Department, and if something comes up that's problematic, I see the potential, given the climate that we have in this society, and especially children of color getting in that pipeline being criminalized. This is another quote. I think that we should do this in-house because of the specialization, because of the sensitivity, and because we're focused on children. Another comment, I think changing the audit procedures is not a good idea, and I worry that this might affect the credit rating of the school district. When it comes to dealing with the students and the principals, to me, that's confidential information, and I don't feel comfortable with that going outside the school district. When I looked at the evaluation, this committee had rated the IG department almost perfect. That's the entire team. Why should we start to break down a system that's already successful for the reasons that you and I both know? Several others. I would never consider going outside. I do think the first place I would look is internally, for there are existing people here, the people that are driving the bus. There's a lot of people driving the bus here. I don't know the capabilities, so maybe that person wouldn't qualify, but I think they should be looked at. I think the comment about going to the county and putting this school district into the county, I think is very conflicting in lots of ways. You lose independence for sure. And lastly, I think aligning with the county has some conflicts with it with respect to the school district. So I would list a couple things that I've just said and emphasize that the success of the IG department so far is based on the performance of a lot of people that are still here. Just because you lose a leader doesn't mean you can't have someone step up and succeed to that person, and maybe even be better because of the way they gravitated in that position. I would emphasize that. So in summary, the committee has emphasized and rationalized the following things: importance of internal continuity, aligning with the county's inspector general may create some potential conflicts in financial reporting. Success of the OIG has been based on the performance of many staff who are still here. Just because a leader is leaving doesn't mean you can't have someone step up and succeed that person. 4 other employees of the OIG office are certified inspector generals. Having to turn over audit-related matters to the county might affect the district's credit rating. Uncomfortable with sharing student information and data outside the district. And lastly, important to keep the work of audit and investigations integrated together in the same shop, because audit and investigation should work closely together for better results. School board, I just want to thank you for your trust in the audit committee and its input for the board's hiring and selection of the next inspector general. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Talley. Questions, Ms. McQuinn?
Just a comment for Mr. Talley. When I came onto the school board and had my list of advisory committee appointees, to my delight, my appointee from the previous board member was Mr. Talley, who had served on the Palm Beach Gardens High School School Advisory Council many years before I was even there. Now, he thinks he's not that old, and I know he doesn't look that old, but thank you so much for your service. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Ms. McQuinn.
Any other questions, comments? Thank you, Mr. Talley.
Okay. And by the way, Mr. Chairman, I have to compliment you on your pleasure. And happy holidays to all of you.
Wish you wouldn't have mentioned that. I try to forget about how I look tonight. The Independent Referendum Oversight Committee, they've given us a report that's attached. There's no one here to give us the report. So we'll go to elected officials and delegates.